I'm going to be now. My name is Trevor Milton. I'll be discussing the United States budget. We're going to start off with a video for you guys. I didn't give you a thumbs up.
I think we're going to start all
Can you
over.
say why America is the greatest country in the world?
I got this one.
No, we cannot.
Diversity and opportunity.
Thus, freedom and freedom. So let's keep it that way. Well, why is it not the greatest country in the world, Professor? That's my answer. You're saying yes. Let's talk about
Sharon, the NEA is a loser. Yeah, it accounts for a penny out of our paycheck, but he gets to hit you with it anytime he wants. It doesn't cost money, it costs votes, it costs airtime, columns. You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. If liberals are so fucking smart, how come they lose so goddamn always? Hey, and with a straight face, you're gonna tell students that America is so star-spangled awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom? Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them have freedom.
All right.
And yeah, you, sorority girl,
just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day, there's some things you should know. One of them is
there's absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science,
49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student, but you nonetheless are, without a doubt, a member of the worst generation ever, periods. When you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite? Sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people. We sacrificed. We cared about our neighbors. We put our money where our mouths were, and we never beat our chest. We built great big things, made ungodly technological advances, explored the universe, cured diseases, and we cultivated the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest economy. Reached for the stars. Acted like men. We aspired to intelligence. We didn't belittle it. It didn't make us feel inferior. We didn't identify ourselves by who we voted for in the last election, and we didn't scare us anything. We were able to be all these things and do all these things because we were informed by great men, men who were revered. First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one. America is not the greatest country in the world anymore. Enough?
Okay. I thought that was interesting. Found that last night. That's why I titled this "Change the Budget, Change the World." And I'm going to break down the budget and what's wrong with it. I'm going to give you a thumbs up when I want you to change the slide. Thank you, Jordan. Military spending. That's the biggest issue I think the United States has with their budget. As you can see, we spend roughly $600 billion on average a year. And that is more than all the other competing nations combined. We're about 3 times more than the next closest. And if you see here, it breaks down where everything is getting spent regularly. So here's the interest on our debt, which keeps rising because of our military spending, safety net programs, Medicare, Medicaid, which we need, Social Security, which is dying, and defense, which is what that 600 billion falls into. And this part right here is divided up by everything that is really more useful than military, such as medical research and education. Okay, so why do we spend so much on military? We're known for getting into wars, and that's because it boosts the economy pretty quickly. So it's a good way to get our economy rolling. Because we do that, we need to defend ourselves, and we're pretty much considered the bully nation in the world. So we have to have a good arsenal to defend ourselves from the people that we bully. And paranoia, where, like you said in the video, we scare easily, and that's because we can't trust our government, and they spend a lot on military and use it frequently. Education spending. Only $72 billion per year as opposed to the $600 billion that they spend on military. Continuous cuts and ups are going on in education spending, so you never know how much you're going to get from year to year, and that's why tuition is always changing. Depending on how much money the government has to spend with our military expenses, our debt continues to rise. So we're actually rising in debt by $11 billion each year because of how much we spend on military. But if we spend more on education, the debt would actually continue to fall. The issue is that education is already low, and as he said in the video, you heard all those random statistics on how terrible our education is. It actually ranks 17th average. If you average all the different scores from different subjects together, we're 17th in the world, and that's pretty low for a major world power. The only other major country that is that low is Russia. And education is the key to our future. We all know that. We say it a lot, but do we really understand it? Because the way we allocate funds does not seem like we do understand it. As you can see, here's the chart. Finland is #1. An interesting fact about Finland is in all of our schools we have honors colleges, we have special education programs, and different in-betweens. Finland, they all go to the same classroom, regardless if you're slow, if you're really smart, you guys get the same education. They don't really get homework and tests until they get to college. And a major downfall in our education system is that we learn for tests. We don't learn for knowledge and intellect. So we're all studying to pass. Here it's the TAKS, or where I'm from it was CSAP, just standardized testing, or the ACT, which doesn't have any practical knowledge. And you can see USA is down here. Scientific and medical research, which ties into the health part of this class. It gets the same allocations as education, $72 billion a year. It's also like education in that different programs get more money than others, and basically they get to pick and choose what's getting studied and what's advancing with research. So it's falling behind just like education. We're actually having to outsource professionals because we don't have enough in the United States. The issue is we are more concerned with how to destroy things than how to fix things. There are several diseases and viruses that are killing millions of people that we aren't putting more money towards discovering the cure to. The government fails to realize that these scientists that we're failing to fund in this education system is the reason that we're smart enough to develop the military weapons. So if we continue this cycle, then we will no longer have the highest military power in the world, as well as education and science and medicine research. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, do you guys have any questions before I ask?